My name's Adam. I'm 34, and I hail from Melbourne in Australia. I've just serendipitously been rewatching the show for the upteenth time, and I quite literally grew up on How I Met Your Mother. This rewatch has been an interesting one, because unfortunately, I'm in the midst of a separation. My partner and I were together for almost 14 years, and we've been best friends since high school, 20 plus years at this point, so it's been a really trying and difficult time, but man, am I glad your show is around. It's strange watching it now, I suppose, being newly single and heartbroken, but it seems apt given the themes and context of your show. And I can't thank you enough that it exists, because it's getting me through a lot, and I really appreciate it. Thank you.
I'm alone, what a pity I won't be soon in New York City. When I see you, please permit me to tell you everything in New York City. Well, hello.
Josh
Welcome.
Radner.
Welcome to How We Made Your Mother. I'm a very under the weather Josh Radner, and I am here with a much healthier Craig Thomas. Hi, Craig.
Hi, Josh. I feel bad. You feel like absolute crap today, but God bless you.
I must have had some bad milk.
Boom! We're right in.
We're right in.
You buried the lead. You're doing just fine. If you can
I don't
make the
know
milk
what's
fun.
going on. I woke up not at my best, but I'm pushing through because it's showbiz, kid. You know,
Showbiz.
It's
Rest for
showbiz.
nobody. The
Yeah.
show must go on. We are talking about the episode Milk today, which made Josh's joke extra good.
How I Met Your Mother season 1, episode 21, which aired when, Alec?
It aired on May 8th.
Back in the day?
Back in the day, it aired on May 8th. And slight correction for last week, for my own damn episode, Best Prom Ever, I might have said June 1st. It was May 1st. I don't know what I said, but here's a correction if I did. This one was May 8th, 2006.
Yes, and I should point out that there's a very, very hot, sexy cameo in this
we'll get to
episode,
that.
too.
We'll get to that, Craig. But I gotta say, when I asked you guys what episode is next, and you wrote Milk, and I was like, what the hell is Milk? Like every episode of season 1, I remembered the title vividly, and the title clicked. Oh, that's what that's about. Yep. Milk? Like, I did not remember that this episode was called Milk. Would you today call this episode Milk?
No, I definitely wouldn't. I didn't come up with a better one while watching. That's the thing. I didn't really come up with a better one while watching it, but Milk is a big metaphor. It's a big metaphor in this one. Milk, the idea of the milk, and milk becomes code for Lily's escape to San Francisco or not. So it plays a role in the episode, but yeah, I think it's the catchiest title. Let's spend this hour trying to think of a better title as we go. And I would definitely call the finale of this season, which is called Come On, which I think is also not that memorable. It should have been called like The Rain Dance, or should take the thing you're most gonna remember and make that the title. But I don't know what that is for this one. We'll figure it out.
Let's just recap, give a quick sketch of what happens in this episode. So we're really hurtling towards the end here. This is the second to last episode of the season 1. Yeah, what do we got? What's happening here?
So I'm also just thinking about it. Maybe one other title could have been Mistakes, because this episode is about mistakes. Can we outsmart ourselves ahead of time about mistakes, or do we have to make the mistakes because that's living? Can you think your way out of it ahead of time? And the answer turns out to be no. That's what this episode's about thematically. But what the actions of this episode are that Ted discovers that Lily is considering bailing on her wedding and going to San Francisco and doing this insane, crazy thing. And she has not told Marshall, not insane, crazy thing, doing this chasing her dream thing, doing something that matters to her in this sort of panic she's having about, is it all moving too fast? Am I growing up too fast? And there's just this, to me, this is a great Ted Lily episode, because Lily calls Ted in that moment. She has basically stolen Marshall's car to drive to this interview that if she gets it, she'll go to San Francisco for months during their wedding. And she calls Ted out, and they have this amazing scene together where Ted gets stranded on the side of the road. I really, this is actually one of my favorite kind of Ted Lily moments of the whole series. Just that she calls him, that they have it out, and that she bails on him. Anyway, I'm not doing a very good synopsis here. That's essentially the big crux of the episode is Lily's fight or flight kind of response to getting married.
And then the B story is.
Yeah, there's a couple other story threads. There's a prank war at Barney's. Marshall is interning at Barney's company, and there's a prank war with someone in another
Clark
company.
Butterfield. Let's say the name. It's a great name.
Which is, by the way, a huge Wesleyan reference. It is Clark Butterfield from the company Nicholson, Hewitt, and West. All of those are dorms at Wesleyan. And every word of that is a dorm at Wesleyan University. Our alma mater, Carter and I, and Alec Lev, our producer, and my wife, Rebecca, all of whom I met there.
By the way, fight or flight. She's flighting. She's leaving. They're fighting. Put the two together.
That could have been it. Fight or flight. Let's even come up with half a dozen better titles than Milk. That's the goal. We have 2. And yeah, so there's a prank war where Marshall's getting deeper into Barney's corporate culture, which is part of what's making Lily feel a little less close to Marshall lately. And Ted also, sort of the C story, is the matchmaker we met earlier in the season. That company has come up with a perfect match for Ted that he misses meeting because Lily calls him away, and then he gets rescued by Robin, and it reawakens his feelings for Robin. Now we've really touched upon all these story threads of this episode, I think.
Yeah. Well, I was... 2 things that really jumped out at me. I remember when I read it and maybe it was more when we acted it, just the way that Allie did it. But I was always startled by and pretty delighted by the moment where Lily says, almost real quick, like in a rant, she says, "And Ted, you're my best friend."
Yeah.
Like, I don't know why I never, it almost changed my actorly relationship to Lily, like Ted's relationship, where I was like, oh, they're best friends. Like Marshall and Lily and Robin, I mean, Marshall, Lily, and Ted are all best friends, but Ted and Lily have a special thing even without Marshall. Like
they do.
That's their own thing that I feel like almost you don't see a lot of it first season, but they've known each other for so long. They've known each other since they were 18. So you can imagine like even as Marshall and Lily were falling in love all over college, like Ted and Lily had late night talks too. Ted and Lily walked around and worked out life together, and you know what I mean? Like it felt really potent to me.
That is potent. You played that history, I think. I felt that history in that scene in a way that I hadn't before. It really deepened the two of you. And you and Allison are good together. You know, there aren't like endless scenes of just the two of you, and certainly not in season 1. And I feel like they've had these late night talks or these weird, asides from Marshall before. I feel that in the history of how you guys played that scene. But I feel like it's usually Lily talking Ted off some ledge. And I love the nature of the scene where Lily's essentially saying, it's my turn to climb up to the ledge and look down. I'm always the one talking people off of there.
Right. And also, who does she call? Like, she calls, it's like Ted's the break glass in case of emergency call for her.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even though he's so close to Marshall. Like, I also, I've observed about Ted in this first season. He is obsessed with plans. He's obsessed with order. He's obsessed with things going the way he wants, except when Robin comes in the picture. He'll rip up the plan. He'll rip up the party list. He'll do whatever. He'll improvise when Robin comes around. But also, he's got this perfect date lined up, like the perfect ordered, like from his imagination. Weirdly, it's literally exactly what he's looking for. And Lily calls and he leaves and he goes to her.
Yeah.
So it feels like, Robin is the tantalizing object of his romance, but Lily in distress, or any of his friends in distress, are also enough to have him rip up the schedule and go to them, which I think is more evidence of when people ask me what they love about Ted, what I love about Ted, I often say his loyalty, what a good friend he is. He's such a good friend.
He's such a good friend. And I love how you played that scene, because Ted is, the way I took it, and tell me if this is how it felt acting it, I took it that Ted was there for Lily because they are best friends, but also I saw it in Ted's eyes, your eyes, playing the scene, that Ted knew he had to live with the heaviness of this knowledge he couldn't share with his other best friend, Marshall. And I felt Ted torn between being there on the side of that road in Westchester or Dutchess County, wherever he is, and thinking about Marshall back home, and the moment where he has to actually talk on the phone briefly to Marshall, the guilt that he's talking to Marshall while he holds this terrible knowledge that Lily is in this freak out that Marshall knows nothing about. I thought you played that great. There's like this real conflicted energy to that scene. Is that how it felt to you? Like you were trying to be the best friend to two people that the two missions didn't overlap well at that moment?
For an actor, that's like a real gift, because it's like you want to be pulled in three separate directions. Like you want to feel that stress and strain of, and it's also true. I mean, I think we've all had experiences where you're in a group of friends or a trio or something, and it's like the side group chat, right? Like suddenly there's information being exchanged that is not meant for the group at large, and then you have to hold that, it's not quite, someone's having an affair, but it does feel like an infidelity to their plan. She's really thrust this thing in Ted's lap. And, what I thought was funny was when she said, "Am I have a flat tire?" And then Ted pulled up and Jordan leaned over and she goes, "Ted can't change a flat tire."
No, but I thought about that too, but he's an architect. So I feel like he has the brain to change a tire.
But then he does.
That was where I went.
But then he does. The greatest acting that I probably did in the episode was acting as if I'd just changed a flat tire. The kind of like, okay. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, mission accomplished.
And I wrote you this little ditty to sing to you in New York City.
We'll be right back. Hey, Alec. Hey, Craig.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys remember last week when we hopped on the call after the podcast and I had to run my dog Nelson out because he'd been in so long and the skies were darkening?
It looked like Ghostbusters. It looked like Zool and the Gozer were happening.
Yeah, it looked biblical. Yeah. The whole thing was very prophesied and terrifying. Yes. The sky was darkening, and I was on the phone with you guys, and it had started raining already in Tribeca, but it hadn't quite got to Brooklyn yet. Do you remember that?
Yeah, and I was like, it's coming your way, man.
And you were warning me.
I mean, did you get soaked? Did you get soaked in that?
No, I didn't. I'll tell you why. I had my Vessie raincoat with me, and I threw that hood up. Nelson got a little drenched because I didn't get him a Vessie raincoat, which I wonder if they're going to be making them for dog. We need to look into that. But for humans, this raincoat was unparalleled. I barely got any rain on me because the Vessie coat, and I looked good. I looked good not getting rained on at the same time.
You could have draped that over Nelson a little bit. Next time, hot tip, you bring Nelson in. It becomes a heroic moment now. Okay.
No, because I can't do that thing. I can't do that thing where I can't shake off the rain the way he does. It's just unbelievable.
Now, I have a question though, because in this week's episode of the show, Ted Mosby made it rain. Yeah, that scene was missing one thing.
In that episode, I think he was rejoicing, delighting in getting soaked because he realized he had supernatural powers.
Any other day, he would have had a Vessie on if it weren't 20 years ago. Did Vessie exist 20 years ago? And we've derailed. Here's the point. Vessie is great. And they make great shoes that are waterproof. They make great raincoats. We got some stuff to try on and try out. We all love it. So listen, make every day a little easier. Visit Vessie.com/yourmother now for 15% off your first pair at checkout and start exploring with confidence. Embrace every journey, rain or shine, with Vessie.
And now, back to the show. Some people have just weird pockets of talent. Like in Two Truths and a Lie, Ted would like throw in "can change a tire" and people be like, "That's a lie." And he's like, no, it's a truth. I can. I'm from Cleveland.
That was a great scene. I also love how early in the scene, Allison/Lily starts tearing up, right? When she's almost starting to cry as she's saying like, no, I just want to see if I can get this thing and then I'm going to let it go. And I feel like she's crying because she knows she's lying. I love how she played that because she knows it's bigger than she just wanted to know if she could get it. If she gets it, she's going. And she's pretending that's not true. And it's coming out of her eyes. Trying to hold that lie is coming out of her eyes. And I thought that was really excellent acting on her part.
You know, once or twice this season, you guys really gave Allie like these kind of scenes where she would have like an aria, or she would be like that, you know, that great rooftop scene with me and her later. She just consistently is just extraordinary in these scenes.
She's so good.
I think because Allie is so kind of known for more like comedic things or quirky things, like you forget like she's an A+ dramatic actress. Like she's so can break your heart. And I don't know, the way she delivered that mistakes thing, I was almost like, I was really like, just as an actor, I was like, that slaloming down that hill and clearing all those flags, like when that's a real high level of difficulty what she did, because it's a really hard speech in terms of just the logic of it. And she's going too fast for Ted, but she herself had to understand it to memorize it, right? So I just thought she did an incredible job throughout that thing, you know, being both like manic, but also having like deep clarity through it in her mania. It was a high wire act.
There's like a deep self-knowledge there to say essentially, damn it, I've made no mistakes. This is the part where I get to at least flirt with making a big one. And then I'm not going to make it. I'll see if I can make it. And then I'm going to let go of it and not make it. And she knows she's lying to herself. And she actually does have a point. I think the people who in their family or in their friend group are the person that kind of holds shit together. They're the cement. They're the, you know, they're the load-bearing support of the building. The building's going to come down if you take away that piece, that wall, that column. That's Lily. And I think she has been living under that pressure for her entire life. I say this because some of this overlaps with with my wife, who is very much that, and her family and friends and her family, with me and the kids. So some of this comes from her. Some of these last couple episodes of the season come from her. I will say that there were moments where she was like, that's really close. You really didn't give me a heads up that the dialogue was going to be exactly stuff that I kind of wrestle with in my life, which was a lesson young writer Craig had to learn, and really didn't, and really just kept doing it the wrong way, and like it would just air, and people would go, oh. But I think that Allison plays that so well because I think Allison, she shares some of that in her energy in the world, I think, right? And she shares on screen, that's how she feels to us. That's her presence. Her presence
is... she was also in the cast. She was kind of the mama bear in terms of, I mean, Allie was definitely like, if I needed a doctor, or like, she just had a lot of answers to things of like, where you go when you need this. Like,
she's a mama.
She's a mama. And I think that when you're the kind of hero child or the, you know, it's revealed later, like she had a very unstable childhood. Her father is this kind of nutball board game inventor. Yeah. And, you know, she had to become an adult because she had children for parents, essentially. And
that's it.
I think when you get those people in either duress or in therapy, there's a lot of dissembling to do. There's a lot of falling apart that has to happen because they have not been able to do that or allow, they feel like the whole structure will fall if they fall. So it can be, you know, an enormous relief to have them do that. But also to them, it's like they're letting down not just themselves, but their whole world they're holding up.
And when you see that person and the audience sees Allison that way, sees Lily that way, I think the characters see Lily that way, the audience sees Allison that way. When you see that person who's that sturdy, who's that necessary to keep the world, to keep the planet spinning and keep gravity working and people from flying off into outer space, when that person breaks, it's potent. To go back to that word, potent. It's very potent when that person breaks, when that person cries, when that person has the breakdown in real life or as a character. It's very powerful. It's almost unsettling. To watch it, right? It's unsettling to watch Allison / Lily with this energy in this episode. Unsettling in the best possible way. I mean, like, and it's what makes this episode work and what makes it special. And some of the best acting in season 1, I think, is that sequence.
And I also think the relative kind of swiftness of it, which is so startling to Marshall, a little less to Ted just because he has more forewarning, but like the swiftness of it feels right because it's the simmering underneath. There is a snap. There's a kind of thing of like, I need to, I think she's looking at this road ahead and she's seeing all these other doors closed. We've talked a lot about this, like a lot about How I Met Your Mother, especially season 1, is about options. We have a lot of options. Which roads are we going to take? And she literally like takes off on a road. She takes this car and goes away.
No one ever said Carter and I were subtle with metaphors. It's an actual road.
Well, let's talk about you and Carter because this is a nice way to get into the fact.
Oh, the other best acting of season 1 is these young studs that come into the bar.
So at the beginning of the episode, this is Ted's birthday? He's still wearing the crown.
He's still wearing his crown.
I understand Ted maybe wants to have his birthday party at McLaren's, but he's about to meet this perfect woman, and he's like, I know a spot. Come to McLaren's. Like, he can't travel.
He really can't branch out.
He can't branch out at all. That was just you guys didn't want to build another set for like a little.
Yeah, it's probably we didn't want to build another. It was definitely that. Although he never ends up going to that date, so it could have been anything. We could have not built the set because he doesn't end up going. I think it's that Ted wants to know this perfect woman fits immediately into his world. Maybe that's the logic, and also probably a little bit not building extra sets.
So Barney says he's got the best pickup line. Is that what he says? Like, I have the
greatest pickup line of all time.
The greatest pickup line of all time. So they watch him do it. He stops this woman and he says, "Oh my God, you got to sit down. Oh my God, you're please don't speak." And he sits her down, calls the paramedics. Wendy the Waitress. Was this the first episode where we say Wendy the Waitress?
I think so. She's been in other episodes, but I don't know if we ever. Yeah, this might have been like her
giving
name.
her a name. Her curtsy was great.
Her name day.
And then these paramedics come in. And they're taking care of her, and he says, "What? You had a terrible fall."
Now is that? I think it's like a young Brad Pitt.
No.
Who are those guys? I mean, they must have gone on to other.
Oh, the two actors. I think they were the leads in Book of Mormon. No, that was Carter Bays and Craig Thomas, the paramedics.
Carter Bays and Craig Thomas.
A very young Carter Bays and Craig Thomas. I thought you guys looked the same, and then I saw you and I was like, no, you guys look younger. Because you don't notice people aging.
Craig, I see Craig's old fucking face on the podcast all the time. It's different. We're young. We look very young. Probably 31 there. I'm thinking 30, 31, Carter and I. Our birthdays are 6 days apart in August, which is adorable. Pam Fryman was 1 or 2 days off of me. And
a
we
heaping of Leos. We were all Leos.
Big Leo month. And Sue Fetterman, too. And we would all do one big birthday on the stage for all of us. So you know what I like too about this, Josh, other than our moment of glory, Carter and I like it does. Ted does the thing that you want him to do sometimes, which is just get on board with enjoying something from Barney, not be like Barney, but he's like, as my birthday gift, I want to see. You've been talking about this greatest pickup line of all time for months, presumably. Let's see it. Let's see it for my birthday. And I enjoy that Ted is enjoying that.
I could make the argument that Ted enjoys Barneyisms when he's not thrust in the center of them, when he's not implicated.
When he can just be
when he can watch from the booth, he totally enjoys it.
Yeah.
But when it's like, have you met Ted? And he turns it on him, he's like, fuck.
Yeah, that's the difference.
That's the difference. So this one, he can just be an observer. He can be Statler and Waldorf in the balcony, and he enjoys that.
Exactly.
So you guys had to chant, "Give her your number."
Give her your number. But I love that Barney starts his own chant. That was the writer's room took note. Because if it's Barney under his breath, like, give her your number. Come on, what's going on here?
God, that was so funny.
He played that so funny.
But also Carter breaks. You didn't break. Carter was smiling. Right?
I took it very seriously. I had a whole backstory for my guy. Yeah.
Well, you were in, I forgot Troilus and Cressida Neighborhood Playhouse is so funny.
So funny. Such a weird throwaway. We're just,
but I also
promised him a plug. He's like, if you do this, I'll plug your Troilus and Cressida production to the bar. That's the deal. That's what they're getting out of it.
Yeah.
Paramedic 1 and 2.
But I thought when I saw them come in, I was like, wow, the paramedics got here quick. And then I was like, no, they were waiting outside. They're actors that Barney
right,
paid.
they're actors.
Yeah, and it had to have been a Monday night because it's their off night. It's their equity day off. Yeah. So Wendy the Waitress gets introduced, which again, like populates the town, like The Simpsons, you know, that like
the small town. I love your point about that.
I thought touching the lasagna is so funny. Like Lily has to touch the hot plate.
Well, it's that theme. It's the mistakes. It's that thing of like, we know it's bad, but we have to do it anyway. And that's, I like that theme really runs through the whole thing. I'm not sure the milk aspect of it is memorable enough to have been the title, but it's just that idea that we as humans, we know better and we have to make the mistake. It's just what it is, which I think holds up. I think it stands the test of time.
When you guys thought of goat in the bathroom on the 30th birthday, is that something like just a challenge to yourself? Like in 2 years, if we're still around, we're going to have to create a plot line about a goat in a bathroom.
Yep. 100%. We did not know what that was. We called our shot. You paint yourself in that corner. You go, when we get there, we have to do that. It's right. It's a challenge accepted. It's a self-challenge, challenge accepted. And it's also, hey, network, hey, CBS, don't cancel us.
Yeah. People are going to want to see who the mother is and what the goat is on the 30th birthday. So who like do the writers' assistants like keep track of like, okay, season 3 is coming up, Ted's 30th birthday, there has to be a goat. Is that how that works?
Yeah. We had a list of stuff to pay off, setups and payoffs and consistency and continuity. Yeah. We had a running thing, and our wonderful writer assistants would keep us honest on those. Still easy to forget, right? It's 2 years away. He's 28 and this is his 30th birthday. You had to remember for 2 years, you got to get to that goat thing. But yeah, it felt like a show. Anytime you can do a thing only your show can do it, right? It's that future knowledge thing is a superpower of the show, and we were just like, let's have as much fun with that as we can. We were second to last episode of season 1, singing for our supper.
Yeah. That felt like flexing the time jump wings more than ever in some ways.
We didn't know what it was, just to be perfectly clear. There was no masterminded. We didn't know what in God's name that was.
Do you know what I liked? And maybe it was the way I felt. I liked how effortlessly, joyfully Ted is wearing that crown. I don't know Lily got him the crown or if he's like, get me a crown. But there's something so funny about how he's just like, I'm the birthday boy. Like
he's enjoying being the special birthday boy.
It feels like the bride at the bachelorette party wearing the whatever, the veil or whatever.
It's sweet. I think Ted was a very good sport in this episode. Like he was up for anything. He's a good friend to Lily. And he gets this very enticing thing and he actually lets it go. Whether or not that was a good idea, whether or not, in that moment he could have known whether that was a good choice. I mean, maybe it was a mistake he had to make on theme. Yeah. That idea of the love solutions thing coming back around. Which I like. I like that coming back around from earlier in the season, although it is one of the most dated feeling things in the entirety of season 1. A matchmaker, because there's no apps for that.
I really like the guy who took over from Cameron Manheim's role. He's very dropped in. He's super funny. Is the reason not to have her back?
Bob Rorschach, by the way, that's a great name for him.
Is the reason to do that plot wise just it's easier to not cast Cameron Manheim? It's just less expensive and a little easier.
Yes. It's way less expensive and scheduling, and she was great. But it would have been one very expensive scene. It would have been, and sometimes we were a season 1 show.
I also felt like Ted drove Cameron's character. He broke her. She left the business.
100%. She left the business. She's like, if I can't find this guy a match, I have to peg it in, which sort of tracked, and she did. She was a mess at the end of that episode, so it does track. She was like having an existential moment of the soul at the end of Matchmaker.
I have a thing, again, about How I Met Your Mother having the best music taste. I love Kim Deal, Kim Gordon.
This is what I was just going to say. The Kims are name checked.
One of my favorite lines of Ted that they didn't put a laugh on because maybe it's not that funny, but I think it's so funny when he says any Kim from any cool band can't be too picky, right?
Yeah. Can't be too picky.
Any Kim from any cool band, that's just very smart to me.
It's a little people will dance, that line. It has the same feeling of that. Like, it's the same. So Kim Deal from the Pixies, Kim Gordon from Sonic Youth. The fact that Ted loves cool bass player ladies is one of my favorite sort of low-key Ted traits and dreams. And yes, name-checking them. It's not like we played those band songs in this episode, but just name-checking them, we definitely had that feeling of like, they're not going to say that on 2.5 Men at 9 after us. And I bet King of Queens at 8 didn't say it either.
It's like it puts you in a sonic world. Like it lets you know this is the music that's influenced them, that shaped them. Jordana and I just saw the Broadway play John Proctor as the villain, which is excellent. If you can see it, please do. It's fantastic. But it does a really great job of grounding these teenage girls like pop music as their like almost like sacred texts, right? Like Lorde and Taylor Swift and Lizzo. Like it shows that you remember when you love music as a high schooler, like the way we loved U2 or something like that, and you know the Replacements and things. It just, it says a lot of, I think the music people love, especially at those tender ages, is very revealing about who you are and who you're going to become.
It's who you are. I just watched this Led Zeppelin documentary that came out recently, and I was like remembering what that band meant to me in high school. I was like, this is like a core memory. This is like a very formative, like, it's powerful. And that's hearing the Kims name dropped. I was very happy because it does create that world.
That's why you became a drummer and overdosed on drugs.
That's it. I said my hero, John Bonham, did that.
I'm going to do that too. You know what, real quick, when the computer flashes and it lands on Ted, I love that it was just all crew members. That was entirely crew members of How I Met Your Mother.
I was just going to say, Josh, that this is a very cameo heavy of behind the scenes How I Met Your Mother people, because all of those crew pictures, me and Carter, Reverend Rob Greenberg marrying Ted and his future unseen wife, Reverend Rob Greenberg, he's a writer and he's a producer. He was a consultant with us the whole run of Him, Rob Greenberg, and was in the writer's room part-time, and was with the only other director who directed a bunch of Him-Yums than Pam. Rob is the best.
As you can tell from his name, Rob is Jewish, so him playing a reverend was deep, incredible character work on Rob's part.
Yeah, I mean, he's no paramedic number 1, but or number 2, whichever one I was, but it was number 2 because Carter is alphabetically first. So it's probably paramedic number 2. Obviously, was the best acting in this episode. Then Lily in that scene. Then you in that scene. Then Carter's 4th. Rob's a distant 5th. No, but yeah. So that was there. There are him behind the scenes people all over the place. I'm just making sure if we covered all my little notations. Luke and Leia. Ted says his kids are going to be Luke and Leia. There's a lot of pivotal things in this penultimate episode of season 1 here.
And this old man, he must admit he fell in love with you in New York City.
And now, commercials. End of commercials. Back to show.
Do you know what I thought about when Barney and Marshall start doing the white mice prank on Clark Butterfield, and those mice are climbing all over Jason? I was like, we had Jason handle a lot of wild animals in the show. Don't you remember he had to hold like what was an armadillo or like some what was that thing he had to hold that was really hard to take? It was hard for me to watch it.
I forget.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
I'm completely blanking on
a
this.
Badger or something?
Holy crap. Someone needs to write in and solve this for the Oldersons over here.
Yeah, in the comments, please
I'm having a complete blank.
Please remind us what animal Jason held in later seasons.
And what season and what episode?
He really had to hold it. There was an animal trainer on set, and he had to hold this like badger type animal.
Vague memory, and I'm not coming up with it. That's so weird. He had to interact with monkeys at some point later. Yeah, he did. I will say that this prank war was a little bit through season 1 of How I Met Your Mother. There was an elaborate prank war happening between us and the writers' room of, I think the show was called The Loop. It was Will Gluck and Pam Brady might have been involved, a bunch of other writers, and there was an elaborate parts of whole days would go into having this incredibly elaborate prank war with the Loop, this other writer's room, a couple buildings over from us. And I'm pretty sure that's like hours were spent on this prank war. It involved our agent. Our agent, Matt Rice, was also the agent for, I think, one of the creators of that show. Literally, our agent was involved, going both directions and helping them prank us and us prank them. It was like completely ridiculous. I think Chris Miller and Phil Lord were a big part of that because they were buddies with Will Gluck, who's a very famous director now. And so the prank war thing was definitely inspired by that.
You guys were so distracted by the prank war. That's why I ended up with lines like, That's New Year's Eve for you. and when the circuits were jammed,
that was part of the prank. They said, "I dare you. Well, can you get Josh Radnor to say the worst line in TV history?" We said we can do it. He's a really nice guy. I bet he'll say the line. It's very amenable.
Do you know what's one of my favorite lines of first season Ted that I got to say in this episode?
Yeah.
Can a brother go apple picking without getting the third degree? Damn.
Damn. I know. That may have been my line. I love I love throwing a good damn at the end of something. Damn.
And I love, when Kobe shows up at the end, you realize like Robin's been away most of this episode.
You've mostly not seen her. She was off getting bad highlights in her hair. Yeah. And that's another, you know what? You're good at acting, Josh Radnor. So is Kobe Smulders, and so is Lily Aldrin. So is Allison Hannigan. You and Kobe, that scene in... There's a lot that had to happen for Ted in this episode, because leaving the Lily thing in Robin's van and having that scene with her that is so connected and at ease, and there's real chemistry there between Ted and Robin. That's a great scene too. That whole sequence that ramps him up to making that decision of, I'm actually not going to open, door number 3 here and see what Love Solutions has to present me. I'm going to stick with this, maybe a mistake, but I have to make it. I have to sort of play this out and see if I can get this to happen at this moment in my life. And damn it, next episode, he pulls it off.
It's kind of like a great Ted Robin, almost like the end of Slutty Pumpkin, like a scene at the end of the episode where they kind of, you just see their easy chemistry, and you see, I have a friend who's married with 3 kids, and he said to me once about his wife, he said, I knew when I married her that I would always be chasing her, that she would just be like an inch out of reach. And they're still married, and I think they're happily married, but their dynamic is he chases her. And I think that, like, imagining Ted and Robin together in their future, I think that's what it would be. I think Ted would always be just a little more hungry for her, and she would be a little scared and a little out of reach, and then every once in a while turn to him and surrender. But there would always be this little chase, but there's something about Ted that he needs that. He needs to feel like he needs a project.
He needs a project. He's an architect.
He's an architect.
He needs a problem to solve. He needs a problem to solve. And that is some people's dynamic. And some people can have that dynamic for 70 years together, and so other people, it will destroy things. It just depends.
I loved his, joke about candy, and him going, candy. It was really sweet about the van and candy.
They were really sweet together. The two of those, the highlights sweet joke. Those scenes between them.
I think that they're able to relax because there's nothing on the table right now. Like, in some ways, it's like they've moved past this thing. They've healed the kind of hurt around, or they're healing it. This almost feels like the moment where they really do heal it.
This is healing it. Yeah. Because in Best Prom Ever, there's that little moment at the end where she says, I maybe haven't forgiven you, but I miss you. And this is the next episode, right? This is them realizing they really, really, really like each other. And
also that Robin will go out of her way to help Ted. I mean, Dutchess County is a drive. It's like she's got to change her night considerably after probably a long day. I love where we do a classic kind of Mosby hand on the heart when he sees her hair. And her hair is objectively kind of ridiculous, but it also, like, hey, he'll love her with that hair. Like, I think in some ways he realizes how much he loves her, because it's like that hair is not a deal breaker. It's more like, I'll move towards this. Like, this is great.
it is a moment of surrender from her, right? She takes off this. She shows him some vulnerability. She shows him this ridiculous head of hair. She takes off some armor and says, "Look at me," in an effort to cheer him up and send him on his way to maybe go meet this wonderful woman. And you sense in her like a little, she loves Ted there, and there's a little something there. There is a little something there in that scene between you two, and he picks up on it. She knows it's there, and she's a little wistful that maybe he's going off to meet, the perfect woman. She had feelings for him. She called him after 2 a.m. Scoreboard.
But in love, there's always those moments where you have to reveal whether it's an emotional kind of scar or like a physical thing you're uncomfortable with. Love is about like, look at this part of me. Do you love this part of me? Will you accept this part of me? And she's doing that. Obviously, it's something that can be remedied. She can get her hair fixed, but it's vulnerable, and it's a point of real connection. It's a bid for affection from her, and he really gives it to her. But also, I want to say that so the scripts go out to the actors, but it also goes out to all the department heads, right? Hair, makeup, wardrobe. So they have to look through props. They have to look through and say, what is up ahead for us in this episode, right? So Dave Baker in props will see, we need this many drinks. We need this party hats for Barney. Although I don't know if that would be wardrobe. That's probably props. But hair will have to see, okay, Kobe needs bad highlights, right? So they have to figure out like how to give her
lots of conversations,
the streaks of hair, right? So just when we talk about like the show being created, all of this stuff has different departments that are, they're all serving the story, but they each have their own areas of concern that they really have to tend to.
And get ahead of, And this is an episode where we had to, on a soundstage, have enough room for a Fiero to break down on the side of what looks like a road outside, and then at some point drive away.
We did that on the stage next door, I believe, right?
The stage next, you beat me to the punch. I think this is the first time we had to go to that next door stage and create a big open set. And there's some other great scenes in the history of Himian where we did that. That stage next to us was not eternally occupied by another show. A lot of our runs, so we were able to sometimes just grab it and say, we need a set big enough for a Fiero to pull away, a shot wide enough. And so that's a much bigger project for everybody. Costs more money. It's a bigger set. Huge, foresight is needed to sort of plan that one moment where that car drives away. But we did it. That's all on stage 21, right next to stage 22, our home stage. And it took more work to get that shot, but it was great.
I'll just say one last thing that I thought the key line, at least for Ted in this episode, is I don't want perfect. I want Robin. And I think that it's evidence of his growth, that his own plans and his own idea of perfection is actually maybe not even what he's looking for. You think you want one thing and then you fall in love. I mean, it's not just people. Like there's like real estate. You think you're looking for one place, you walk into a house or an apartment, you go, no, this is where I'm going to live. And it doesn't have all the things I wanted. It actually has some things I didn't think I wanted, but actually are wonderful. I think that he's learning that Robin's imperfection is perfect for him.
That's wisdom, I think, right? I think there's wisdom in that line. I think some of the audience is probably screaming at the screen like a horror movie. Don't go in there like, hey, what are you doing? Go meet the woman. Go see what's behind door number 3. Love solutions, lady. And maybe that's true. But Ted is I think he's gaining some wisdom there in a sense, because he's saying, I've spent so much time chasing this notion of perfect. I'm going to forget about that and just see what's right in front of me and see if I can make that finally happen and make what's actually in my life happen, rather than some tantalizing other floating abstractly outside of the perimeter of my life, this promise of something perfect that a computer is serving up. Maybe that's something, maybe it's not, but I want to see through my actual life right here. This is my life right in front of me. I think there's wisdom there. I think I got a great piece of advice when I was having trouble letting go of how I thought something big in my life was going to go, and it didn't go that way, which was really mourning the thing, having like a little funeral in your mind for the thing you thought it was going to be this perfect situation, and let go of it, and really put it to bed. Like really say, I'm not going to pretend things were going to be perfect, that's possible. I'm just going to actually live the life I'm living. And that's how in so many different categories in life, I think that's great advice, actually. I mean, regardless of what goes on to happen with Ted and Robin, I think really deciding that the chase for perfect is a road to madness, and that wisdom lies in actually living the life you're living. I think there's definitely something there.
I love how Ted, when everyone groans and reacts and says, no, not again, and he is completely unaffected by it. He just has such like inner calm and serenity and knowing about it that he's not, nothing can rattle him. This is going to happen.
Yeah, and it carries over into the next episode. I love confident Ted. It's like Ted is actually tuning into some universal vibration here in this episode, because he goes there to help Lily. That falls apart. Robin's there to help him. Everything's there in his life, right? It's all there. It's a closed circuit. It's there. His life has what he needs in this episode, and he knows that.
Well, I wonder, and I'm sure that on some level this is true, but like, if Lily and Marshall can maybe not make it and get rattled, like nothing is certain. There is no order. There's nothing we can really depend on. You might as well follow your heart and see where it leads. And I love that last conversation, about milk, to bring us back to the maybe perhaps mistitled
perfect title for this episode, really.
But Lily and Ted are actually having a telepathic conversation there. They're just having a different conversation from Marshall.
I think Ted is seeing the imperfection of the perfect couple. It's the perfect couple. He's been trying to replicate this perfect couple, and he's seeing that there is imperfection in this perfect couple. And his best friend Marshall doesn't know that his other best friend Lily is experiencing something very unsettling. And I think that's right. I think that gives Ted free rein to go chase what could be imperfect for him, but it's what he wants, and it's what he needs to see through. And that's our season finale. Very next episode. We're almost at the end of season 1 of both the TV show and the podcast.
You really teed up a finale really beautifully here. So it definitely makes me want to tune in and watch the finale, and we'll be discussing it next week. And I'm really looking forward to it. Well, we've come to the end of the show, and we like to end this show and every show with a letter that we've received. If you would like to write us a letter or record a voice note about what How I Met Your Mother means to you, or what your relationship has been to the show, please go to howwemadeyourmother.com, hwmym.com. Go to contact and follow the instructions there. It should be pretty clear. But we've just gotten flooded with beautiful reflections and people letting us know how this show came to them and how it's changed them and affected them. And we have a beautiful letter to read today. This is from Howard in Taiwan. I want to tell you a story about my soulmate, the one true love of my life. The first time I met my girlfriend was during our freshman year of college. She had already watched How I Met Your Mother multiple times, but she was the one who introduced me to the show. We shared many of the same thoughts about Him Yim, which helped us build a wonderful connection. Thank God we were like Lily and Marshall, two people who found true love from the very beginning. By the end of this year, we will be celebrating our 6-year anniversary. Now I'm about to pursue my master's degree in the U.S. Sometimes I feel like it's a mistake because I'm deeply in love with my girlfriend, my country, Taiwan, and every single friend I have there. Studying abroad could easily weaken or even break those relationships. However, I still need to go ahead to find out if this path is truly worth it for me. This situation reminds me of Lily in episode 21, when she wanted to find out if she was meant to pursue her dream of becoming an artist. In that episode, she stood in the middle of nowhere and told Ted, "I know it's a mistake, but there are certain things in life where you know it's a mistake, but you don't really know it's a mistake because the only way to know it's a mistake is to make the mistake. And then you look back and say, yep, that was a mistake. So really, the bigger mistake would be to not make the mistake, because then you'd go your whole life not really knowing if something is a mistake or not." Thank you again to this show for giving me the courage to pursue my dreams. And to my girl, by the time you reach this episode, I will probably be in a graduate program in the US. So I want to tell you, don't be afraid. We can make it through this. Wait for me. Love you, my dear Anna. Howard.
Wow.
Jordana's
Usually
crying.
The beginnings of the episodes make me... I hear it. Jordana, Josh's wife Jordana, is crying in the background from that letter. That letter's unbelievable. Oh my God, that got her. That got me too. Wow, thank you for sharing that, Howard. Beautiful. That's beautiful. Oh my God, I so hope that that she hears this. That this is a surprise to her that she hears this.
If Anna's not in the business of listening to the C block, you gotta remind her.
Stay tuned to the end.
Stay tuned.
Sit through the pretty letter ad. There's something really beautiful after it. We're going to talk about cats peeing, and then you're going to hear Undying Devotion from Howard. That was so beautiful. I wish you guys the best of luck. I'm so glad the show speaks to you in that way. Oh boy, I think going to take that adventure is an amazing thing to do, and I think you sound very in love and have a good feeling it's going to go well, like it did in the end. In the long run, there was some turbulence for Marshall and Lily, but spoilers, they were okay.
I got to say, Craig, I really I enjoyed reading that speech from Lily a little slower than she delivers it. There's a lot of wisdom in that speech, and there's a lot of wisdom.
She's manic,
but she's also in some ways articulating a core theme or philosophy of How I Met Your Mother. Is like, you can plot everything out, but you've got to live it forward, and you've got to step in the potholes and twist your ankle, to learn and where you're going.
As you read it, which I enjoyed hearing you read that speech in a different tone, and sort of it was like a good cover. It was like you took a rock song and slowed it down to a ballad there, one of those. And I thought of Jimmy Stewart in It's a Wonderful Life. That's what I was thinking of as you were reading that. Because there's this kind of yearning and like, I've got to go out into the world. I've got to do these things. But there's also this feeling of there's so much here for me. There's so much here for me. And what a universal conundrum. Do I go out seeking everything outside, or do I realize I have enough here? Sometimes you get to do both and it works out. And I hope that's what Howard gets to go do. He gets to go see the world, and then his world is still there waiting for him and with him through that. And I think that to share that, to trust that person, to trust that your life and your world is going to be there on the other side, is a huge and wonderful act of faith. And I think that if you lose something, or if something is shaken or challenged by that, that can also in the long run be a good thing and lead to something stronger on the other side, even if it's a little different than you thought. So I just wish you the best of luck. I think it's brave and exciting and lovely what you're doing, Howard. So thank you for sharing that.
I am guilty. Please acquit me. All sins are forgiven in New York City.
How We Made Your Mother is hosted and executive produced by Josh Radnor and Craig Thomas. The show was produced by me, Alec Lev, and our co-producer is Doug Matica. Our audio producer and mixer is Alex Reeves at Point of Blue Studios, and our digital content producer, aka Gen Z Master, is Emily Blumberg. Artwork by John Morrow. Please follow, rate, and review the show on Apple Podcasts or your podcast player of choice. It really does help the show. Our theme song is NYC by our own Josh Radnor, with additional music by Craig Thomas and Andrew Majewski. Special thanks to Lola Kennedy and Elliot Connors. Visit howwemadeyourmother.com to sign up for our Substack mailing list and for links to our social media. You can also click on the contact page to send us an email or a voice message. Your stories and questions are an important part of the show. Want some merch? Click on the store link or go to howyougetyourmerch.com. Subscribe to Josh Radnor's newsletters on Substack. Order Craig Thomas's debut novel at craigthomaswriter.com/novel. And you can subscribe to my Dead Fathers Society, also on Substack. To learn about how you make a difference, this show's ongoing campaign to raise money for congenital heart disease research, check out the Make a Difference tab at the top of our website. This episode was made possible by the support of Backyard Ventures. People will, in fact, dance.
The real question, it just hit me. Am I in love with you? or just New York City.